Hey everyone, it's me, Grimace from Bespoke Woodsman. So today we're doing the Descanso Trail. We're going to go out and see an old piece of Cold War history, an old piece of civil air defense, an air raid siren called Cerro Negro, Black Hill, and that's where we're going. It's just going to be an easy, real simple day hike and get out of here. It's just early Sunday morning. And it looks like we are here. Trail, Descanso. Great. So, someone mentioned this looks sort of like an access way for the gardens. And that's true, it does look like that. But it is the trail. So, here we go. Steep trail ahead, dismount advised. Luckily, we're already dismounted. Just naturally. Pretty early. I hit the trail around 7:20, 7:22, somewhere in there. It's a nice day outside. It's been hot lately, but it's only supposed to be, I think, low 80s today. Not too bad. Still got out a little early just to kind of beat as much of the sun as I can. So far, real chill. Lots of scat on the trails, but not many humans. That said, well, no humans. That said, I did see one up on that ridge over there from a distance, but so far ahead of me that I can't anticipate even running into them, which is fine if I do. Still making our way uphill. Oh boy. Well, you gotta see this. That's real nice looking. Yeah. St. Gabriel's are real pretty. I mentioned we're going to see an old Cold War relic. There are actually a lot of them in these mountains. There's quite a few. There's a couple old Nike missile sites. Just some old, Vandenberg Air Force Base was not too far from here, so there are a lot of relics. Even more, I think, when you get out toward the desert. But the mountains are full of them too. Los Angeles had obviously a lot of strategic importance, just in that it's a big city. And the United States would not have wanted to risk a direct hit on one of its biggest cities. And we happen to have all these mountains out here, so it becomes a real sort of no-brainer on where to put the missiles. Excuse me. But the other part of that is that they never went out and dismantled the stuff. So it's all still there. It's all still just hanging out. I don't know if it's still operational, but it's still there. And as I'm going to show you, you can still go visit a lot of it. So let's just keep walking. Man, it's real pretty this morning. Sunrise over the San Gabriels. Not too bad. Of course, we've looked a lot of the San Gabriels. Not to be outdone are the Verdugo Mountains, which are just to our south. So we have views of both of them. Imagine if we get a little higher, we'll have panoramic views of both of them, which would be nice. Just ran into a trail runner. Convinced there's nowhere in greater Los Angeles you can go hiking and not run into a trail runner. Which, if you are a trail runner, so I'm a hiker, and if you hike in California, Southern California especially, there's really nowhere to go where you're not doing big ascents, mountains. I'm also a runner, but individually, both things almost kill me every time. So if you're able to combine the two, I have a lot of respect for you. I think that's our First taste of the air raid siren, perhaps. But back on the subject of trail runners, I think few things are funnier, or for that matter, more demoralizing than huffing and puffing your way up a mountain like I'm doing right now. And someone just runs right past you. Glendale Police firing range here. I wonder if we'll hear someone firing. This lane is so wide. The trail is so wide and plush. I feel like I'm being carried on the back of a Sherpa. Of course, the ubiquitous power lines that you see on so many Southern California hikes because our power runs through the mountains. So it's always a fun sight to walk directly underneath power lines. Sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I actually think it's kind of neat. It's like a ski lift, but it's not anything like a ski lift. There's a picnic table, water fountain, looks like a hitching post. We're near what they call the ultimate destination right up there. I'm gonna get some water and then take a rest. Just kidding, that's standing water for a horse trough. Gonna be more water up here, I'm sure. If not, I haven't had any because I'm afraid to use my bladder, which is dumb. This is the ultimate destination. It's been preserved as open space for the public through the assistance of the following entities. Thank you, Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, City of La Cañada Flint Ridge, State of California Department of Parks and Rec, and Assemblyman Jack Scott. Thanks, guys. I'll let you look at this while I drink from this water fountain here. Oh. Just tucked in among these trees. I don't know much about cacti, or really about plants at all, but it looks like a saguaro to me. I'm gonna go off trail this time. Not the first. I know that doesn't make it better, but anyway, good looking cactus. Time for the hero shot as we turn the corner, and boom, there it is, air raid siren. See a bit more when we get closer, but that's our first real view of it on the trail. This is it. This is the Chrysler Bell Victory Siren. That was the name of it. So you hear the names Chrysler and Bell, and yes, it was operated or is manufactured by Bell Telephone as part of their civil defense system. The engine is a Chrysler engine, a Chrysler industrial engine. It's actually a Hemi engine, believe it or not. So because we're out in the middle of the mountains, they wouldn't just have someone run up here if Los Angeles was under attack and sound the alarm. They wouldn't just have someone stationed here. What happened was this was actually, and this makes sense when you realize that Bell Telephone made it, was actually operated by telephone. So someone sitting in probably Vandenberg Air Force Base, oh, there's a dog off leash. Someone sitting in probably Vandenberg Air Force Base would call a number that would basically operate this. And I'm sure they had several others that they would call. And that's how it would make the sound that would go out to greater Los Angeles. And in the Cold War, late 50s, early 60s, they would test this all the time. And so all the people out here, all the Angelinos, you know, the sound would, they would say that the sound could reach San Pedro, Long Beach even. That's what I'm told. And then the Queen Mary, I think, had a comparable system. So that could pick up the slack, so to speak. And theoretically then, that's how people would know that a missile was coming, an intercontinental ballistic missile was coming from Russia. So they just built this out here. And in many towns across America, cities across America, it's a sort of a strange thing to think about. I mean, what do we have now? Like, we probably get an Amber Alert or something on an app, Citizen app or something. But this is what they did in the Cold War. And luckily, we never had to test it fully. But they did test it. But luckily, the real thing never happened. Or else I wouldn't be here to tell you about it. I had mentioned all the Nike missile sites out in the mountains. So if a missile was coming in, an ICBM was coming in from Russia, theoretically one of those would fire off and knock it out of the sky. So you'd have all of Los Angeles running for cover, but then meanwhile the same sort of civil defense system would also be working to eliminate the threat. So again, we never really had to test it, at least not that we're aware of. If we did, then it was a rousing success. But pretty neat. One last look before we turn around and head out of here. Piece of history. On my way up, I saw a water bottle sitting by a bench, like a little rest area. Then on my way back down, I saw it still there. So I figured someone just put it down and forgot it. So I picked it up, I'm packing it out, and now I'm sort of collecting trash that I see as I go. Which I do a lot on my, especially the smaller day hikes, like a, you know, couple miles, 5-10 mile day hike. I'll usually, especially on the downhill or on the way out, I'll pack out a lot, pick up any trash I see and pack it out. It's always depressing though. I don't understand why people don't take care of their trash. If you bring it in, take it out. Like, it's not complicated. You carried it full, you can carry it empty. Especially on a shorter hike, but do it all the time. Anyway, so here's where I'm at so far, including the container. None of it's mine. I imagine we'll get quite a bit more on the way, but so far it's actually a pretty clean trail. It's just sad that there are levels. Oh, here's some trash. Yeah, Kleenexes, toilet paper are particularly gross because now I'm gonna have to sanitize my hands. So please don't leave that stuff out here. It's gross. Now, maybe I'm a sucker, but I tend to believe that people are inherently good, and the people who go outdoors know not to leave trash in it. So I think that most of the time I tend to think that, like, it's something that just you didn't even know you dropped. I've done that. On my Gabrielino Trail video, I actually lost my my little gorilla pod. I had it on one shot, and then a little while later, I went to use it, and it wasn't there. And I circled back, couldn't find it, and that was that. I'm sure someone found it and it's just trash now. Or, you know, I could see someone like grabbing a thing and they don't realize that they accidentally pulled another of the thing and it falls out, like a Kleenex, something like that. But just really try to be careful. I do think that 90% of it, or at least, you know, 80% of it is accidental. But really just try to be aware of what you're leaving out there and pack out your trash. We're reaching the end of the trail here. Saw a couple of wag bags on the way in that I thought I would pick up on the way out. Didn't see them though, so either I missed them on the way out or someone picked them up. Did find one, but it's not the same one. Different color. But just lots and lots of trash. Saw a woman with a small boy, maybe 4 or 5, running up ahead of her, and she was carrying a baby, and then dragging a stroller behind her, making her way up the stiffest part of this hill. And that woman deserves a medal. So if that was you, you have my respect. Final tally on trash. We got 1 bag, but all of this stuff, including the container. There's a sock in there. I don't know how you lose a sock. It was the backcountry. I was like, oh, I would think, oh, they were drying it on the back of their pack and it fell off. But this was like a 5-mile day hike with no water crossings, so I don't know. And then pieces of foam. I don't know how that even happens. But that's the final tally. Let me throw this away now. That's that. So I'm coming up back on Descanso Gardens itself. So that'll be the end of this trip. Again, my name is Grimace with Bespoke Woodsman. If you like hiking, camping, backpacking gear, please click subscribe. If you like this video, please click like. Either way, I really appreciate you watching. Again, I know that there's a lot of great content on YouTube. I don't take it for granted anytime anyone watches any of my videos. So I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the trail.